We never left.
And happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode 198. We're back after a week off. We took some time to relax and rest for Labor Day. And boy, do we know, Jonka, that Brandon and Blake really needed that rest after yesterday. They really needed that rest. We hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day, had a great rest of their week. But we're back. We're ready to talk football. Loads of football today. Only college football and NFL. And we're pretty sure that's going to fill up the hour today. But we must start. We must start with the topic at hand that I'm sure that everybody wants to talk about. And that is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins lose very, very badly to the Indianapolis Colts yesterday. And listen, I will say this, that I will not be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I will not be surprised at some point in this season Mike McDaniel is no longer the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. This team looked lame. This team looked weak. They looked pathetic. They didn't look ready to play. They're a small team. Anybody who they play against who's much bigger and stronger can just run them over. We're talking about a team that had a lot of injuries through training camp. We're talking about a team that it got downplayed because Tua said everything was okay, but him and Tyreek having and working through some issues. This team is just not good. And if you tell me right now, I think coming into this season, a lot of people said the Saints were going to be the worst team in the league. I think the Dolphins and the Saints can compete for that title after week one. I know Brandon's probably confused over there. I'm sorry, Brandon. This was just atrocious. This team is absolute garbage. They need to blow it up. Chris Gear's got to go. He hasn't done anything good with this football team. Tyreek Hill's got to go. For people who are still believing in Tua Tagovailoa, I was laughing in the first quarter. I was laughing for the rest of the afternoon. Fumbled, interceptions, and let's not even get to the serious part that many people put out there yesterday online, that they were concerned that he might have gotten another concussion yesterday. Mike McDaniel just saying today, well, it comes with the pressure of the job. I don't feel entitled by, having this job. And, Tua saying yesterday after the game that, I don't know why people are, saying that, I'm playing so bad. Tyreek hasn't even caught a long ball since, I believe, it's been a year now. This defense couldn't hold anything. Jonathan Taylor was mauling people when he was running the football. We had Brandon, you tweeted today, should I say, about a very key injury to the team. And it's just a mess. It's a mess. It's not good. There's nothing positive to say. And for Dolphins fans, it's going to be a very, very, very long season. They might even end up last in this division.
Well, I don't know, Blake, you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go quick.
I'm
very excited. Take your time.
Yeah.
Very excited to hear what both of you have to say.
Yeah, so we have a group chat. We don't really talk about what will be on the show, but I'll say I voiced my opinions on the Dolphins game live. That had to be fun to see. But I think there's two ways to look at it. You have the fan, and then what we're doing, which is being journalists about it. As a fan, I've never been more disgusted at a team that's been put out there. There's been worse Dolphins teams, but the disgust is you're paying people like you're trying to win. And this is the product that we put out there. We've been trying now for half a decade to draft, not even draft an O-line, but to put an O-line around Tua Tagovailoa. And in the second quarter on back-to-back possessions, there was 2 plays where there was a free rusher who just walked up to, it was a nickel blitz, who just walked up to the line, and Austin Jackson on him both times doesn't call out the nickel blitzer on the line, and Tua gets laid out, one for a fumble, one he gets buried into the ground. So as a fan, I am terrified to see next week, because the issues that I saw, you can't fix in practice. It's honest. There's a lot of just personnel issues. That's, I think, is a big thing with it. The secondary is so awful that Anthony Weaver is trying to call defense in the first half, where his corners bail on every single play because he knows they're going to get beat. So they're throwing 2-yard passes that go for 8 yards, and your defensive line that you're paying all this money to, which, by the way, where were they? Even when we got 1 sack, even through the whole game. Zach Sealer, I almost didn't see him play, it felt like. Yeah. Jalen Phillips, you guys know, I think I've told you, Daniel, I'm cool with Jalen Phillips gone. He gets injured too much. I met him, great guy, he's a super nice guy. But he needs to go. It's just the issues on this team are 3-4 year fixes. It's not we can fix with signing one free agent, because our only good player felt like yesterday was Minka. Minka played good. He was fine. Yeah. He was all over the field. But the issue is he's supposed to be the center fielder of your defense, and he's having to walk into inside of 10 yards and make every tackle because no one can. And then the offensive line's awful, gives Tua no time, but then Mike McDaniel sees James Daniels go out injured. He wasn't already supposed to play. And it puts him in a position where he goes, I don't want Tua to get murdered. I need to throw this ball short. But then you can just press up everything. And if the exact same issues are next week, you're playing the Pats, it's a division rival. It's going to be a tough game. Every division game is a tough game, no matter what. If we go into that game and it's the end of the first half and we're losing 20-3, I want Greer fired after the game. I want McDaniel gone, even if it's not McDaniel's fault, because he has only this disgusting O-line to work with, but he has 2 amazing playmakers on the outside. We can talk about that. But I want Tyreek gone. I want us to try and shop around Tua. I want us to try and shop everyone. Get as many first-round picks over the next 4 years as you can. But if we lose next week, that's fine. But if you're getting blown out again, you're paying people too much to get blown out. It's Brandon, you can go. I'm sorry. I'm
telling you right now, because you perfectly painted the Dolphins side of the picture, but I want to go to the Indianapolis side of the picture though, because going into the game, Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, either way, you're a losing team. That's what everyone was talking about. That's what everyone was looking at. Either whatever quarterback is going to be for the Colts, they're not going to be successful passing the ball. Yeah. Whatever the O-line looked like for Indianapolis, they're not even going to be considered for the division in the AFC South. I saw within the second quarter of this game a Troy Aikman graphic near Daniel Jones's face. This man went off 22-26 completions, 272 yards, and a touchdown pass. Crazy enough, he led the team in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, 2.
He had 2 tutties on his run. The moment that you saw 4th and 1, I knew it was over. Daniel Jones was lights out, unstoppable. It looked like he was going against a peewee team out there on 4th and something. And also for the coaches out there from the Colts, again, PG-13, but screw you, man. You're up by 30, and you're running a 4th and 1? Why? Give us a shot. Give Miami a shot. My goodness. But speaking of shots, though, Tua took a few sacks here and there, I think 3 throughout the game. And again, with the O-line, with James Daniels, he's going to be out for multiple weeks. And then, of course, Storm Duck, who is supposed to be cornerback 1, who was really cooked the entire way by Pittman throughout man coverage throughout the game yesterday. He's going to be gone for a few. So we got a lot of guys who were starters, didn't really show out much. And now we're going to miss a lot of them. This is going to be a really tough season. This is a team obviously better than what we saw on Sunday. I don't think that there's a lot of people in the NFL that would say, yes, the Dolphins are a bad team. But the Colts, allowing the Colts to score on every single offensive possession throughout an entire first half, something that no team has ever done in the 106 years in the NFL, I don't think anybody looked at that as a possibility with this game. This is something I can't even tell you anything after that game, because I've always been a big guy about, let's fire Chris Greer. Guy's been here for a decade without a win in the playoffs, without a real contending team besides 23. He went out of his way to get pass rushers. Only got 1 sack out of today. You know what really killed us? Really killed Miami? That secondary, the loss of downs, the turnovers on the other side of the field, and that secondary couldn't do anything. Not a single bit. Zilch. Jason Marshall Jr. playing nickel, horrible. Storm, terrible on man defense. And then on top of that, on the other side of the ball, on the offensive side, because everyone talks about Tua and the O-line. Well, on the defensive side for the Colts, Xavier Howard, a former Miami Dolphin, which made it even worse, a former Miami Dolphin, Xavier Howard, who also recovered a fumble in this game. He said to the media earlier today for media availability that basically he just told the guys, just bunch up the middle. After that first pick, we know he was in panic mode. That's what he does. That's what he does. You got guys calmly saying that, like it's like, I'll take a this and a that on number 5. That's how he said it, basically. That's what he does. So the fact that that's the reputation where we saw Howard Cook, and I know we're probably going to talk about this later on, but also the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jalen Ramsey sealing a win with a big hit.
Yep.
This was a nightmare as a Dolphin fan. Now, as a journalist, it's week 1. Things can happen. Like Mike McDaniel earlier in the media availability said that basically in 2017, when he was part of the Falcons, they lost their first game against a divisional rival, Atlanta, losing against Tampa. They went on to the Super Bowl. Not saying the Super Bowl team, but I don't think this is going to be this is the sign of 18 weeks ahead. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think the Dolphins are going to regroup. But overall, terrible day. Coaching-wise, there was a lot of questionable stuff. I understand the defense against Indianapolis was just insane. You couldn't find anything. But what was it, 4th down when that touchdown from Devon Achane? You have a stick-out route with one guy blocking behind the line of scrimmage. You pass the ball 11 yards behind towards a goal, and you expect a touchdown out of that? That should have never been scored in. That was a horrible play call, horrible read. I mean, if they're going to answer back, maybe it's next week, but this is the laughingstock. The laughingstock of the NFL right now. Now, worse than the Saints? I don't know about that. That team, I don't know if you saw the jersey combo they had against Arizona. That jersey, it's like some weird, and mind you, they're 0-6 in that weird-looking, creamy, caramel-looking cafe jersey. No idea what New Orleans is doing. I don't know if they're that bad, but this is a bottom-feeding team. This is a bottom-feeding team, and they have to prove themselves in the next 4 weeks.
John,
Joker, do you mind if I say one more thing before
Go ahead.
I give it to you?
Go, Blake.
Bro.
The moment I knew that we lost this game was the defense finally gets a stop. We force them to punt. And then multi-time Pro Bowler veteran Matthew Judon's on punt team roughs the kicker. They get the ball, go down and score. I knew the game was over then. And I knew that this team was in the mud. That's a job for an undrafted guy trying to find a position to be on this team long term. And guess what? When you put those undrafted guys in, when I was in high school, I started playing football my junior year. I just wanted to not mess up. That's what they're doing. They don't make penalties like that because they're not Matthew Judon. They're not a Pro Bowler trying to make a play because he can. And now he's never been on punt team since 2017. It's been 8 years since he tried to block a punt. And you send him out there and you're going, hey, just stay out there. And he's going to make a mistake. But yeah, that's when I just knew we lost it. And I wanted to shut off my TV.
Dang, guys.
He's smiling. Oh, I'm done.
I can't say much because my team also lost, but I mean, I'm gonna get into that a little bit. But before that, I'm gonna talk about the Dolphins. I woke up Sunday afternoon, just a couple minutes before the game started, and I didn't know what to expect, but I did predict the Colts to win this game. And 2 weeks ago, before we went into that break, what did I tell you guys? That if the pass rush for the Dolphins can get to Daniel Jones in time, I don't trust the DBs on the Dolphins to cover for that long. They're just that bad. And we saw that every time it was a third down, they would just convert. They scored on every drive, and there was no discipline. And then obviously the what's it called? The injuries started piling up for I forgot his name, Daniels, and then Storm Duck. And then from there, it just started falling little by little, ding, 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 ding. And then by the time you saw it was 30-0. And I think that those 8 points, it was just a pride thing at that point. Like McDaniels, like he didn't need to score that, bro. Like we all know they held you scoreless. Those 8 points, that doesn't exist to me. That's a 0 for me in my book. But overall, like I'm not gonna say it's the end, but now I'm gonna talk about heading into this coming week against my team. I think just for anybody that didn't know, when we played the Raiders this Sunday, we didn't have Christian Gonzalez, and then our first round pick, Will Campbell, was dealing with an ankle injury, but he still ended up playing. He didn't have that good of a game, but hopefully he's healthy this coming week, and we do get Christian Gonzalez back, which was the problem in this game because our depth at corner was kind of like non-existent in that game, which gave up the first touchdown. And it was like 30-yard, like nobody was around the guy for 30 yards for some reason. But then the game ended up being 17 to, I think it was 20 to 13. It was still it was a touchdown. It was a touchdown game. The defenses were back and forth. Nothing gave up. So I'm impressed with that. Despite the only problem I had with my team was the offense. For some reason, I'm gonna read this to you guys. Knowing that it's a Mike Vrabel team, by the way, he's very aggressive when it comes to his running backs. Explain this to me, bro. Travion Henderson, our star second round pick, 5 carries. Ramondre Stevenson, 7 carries. Drake May had 4 carries. Demario Douglas 1. Antonio Gibson 1. What is that? Drake May had 46 attempts passing. Bro, this is not that's not gonna work out with the Dolphins. The Dolphins, you're gonna have to make some play up. I think they're gonna make adjustments. Josh McDaniels, he's experienced. I think he's gonna make those adjustments. Drake May, he could spread the field. He can scramble whenever he needs to. He's good at that. He ended up with 287 yards despite how bad the offense was. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He got sacked 4 times, 11 pressures. So the O-line did not have a good game. So that's a plus for the Dolphins, by the way. If you can get to Drake May, you can affect our offense. And so that might be a play in hand. That might be a plus for the Dolphins if the whole D-line can actually do something. But at the same time, I don't think the Dolphins DBs can cover our receivers. So I don't know I think it's gonna be a very close game. Unless we see the same thing that happened this weekend where Drake May and Daniel Jones end up being mediocre quarterbacks, but the Dolphins are that bad that they make them look like the next coming of Tom Brady. So I don't know what to expect. It's the same thing. My team is bad. Dolphins team is bad. I think it's just 2 teams. It's the same thing as last year where both O-lines suck. Both defenses are in a situation with injuries. And I don't know who. I don't even know who to pick. I'm gonna root for my team no matter what. But I won't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised whoever wins this game. It's but if the Dolphins do lose this game, I'm telling you this right now, it's the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end. Because they got to go in to play the Jets. I think if I'm correct, week 3, right? For the Dolphins?
No,
Either that or the Bills.
we play Bills on Thursday night.
Damn.
Yeah, in Buffalo.
Let me just make sure before Daniel goes. It will be the Bills. Yeah, Bills on Thursday. So you play us, and then you play the Bills, and then you play the Jets. Holy smokes!
Okay, let's calm down. The Jets are not that good.
Hey,
I don't care what that week 1 game was like. I don't care what happened.
I was impressed by Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields in that game to go toe-to-toe with the Steelers, bro. As bad as the Jets are, they did pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I can't hate on that. Respect is due.
40-year-old Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns against that New York Jets defense.
Yeah, but it still is Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? All I'm saying is the division. Look, if it wasn't for the last 5 minutes of Sunday Night Football, the division would have been all 0-1 if it wasn't for the last 5 minutes of that Bills game. All right.
That would have been so peak.
So in a really weird way, I'm not saying best case scenario for Miami, but you could be in the second part of, the second seed of the division, because basically the Jets got to go against the Bills, and I don't think anyone has New York on top of Buffalo in week 2. I don't think a soul would put that over them.
No.
So, but I also did want to say though, Jonka, especially for your game, specifically the Pats and Las Vegas, Geno Smith, impressed. One of the most impressive outings I had really from week 1, looking across the board. Again, a 2013 victory. He had over 300 passing yards in that one. Yeah, 362. If you're a fantasy owner, that's at least, leading your team easily. So that entire division, the AFC West, they had a good week besides the Chiefs.
The absence of Christian Gonzalez makes a difference for our team, because besides Carlton Davis, we don't have like that next corner that can come up and make a difference.
Well,
so
corner or secondary,
bro.
You had at least
interception, but like it wasn't enough. It wasn't. You can't do it all. You need Christian Gonzalez to pair them both up. Then that's a lethal duo.
I could see that, but I don't know if a duo is stopping 5 receivers from getting 30-plus yards each. I mean, Brock Bowers had 103 yards. Jacoby Myers, a former Patriot, he did get injured. He did. That's a little scary though for them. But also I was going to say as well, Jacoby Myers, 97 yards though, returning.
Hey, they attacked the weak guy, bro. It's you can't blame them, bro. That's the strategy.
I will say I knew that something was wrong in the first quarter. This was not going to go well when I saw Tyreek Hill in just the first quarter having an absolute tantrum on the sidelines. I think you guys should have traded him when you could have.
Apparently the tantrum was supportive, though. Like, he was trying to hype everyone up.
And listen.
I mean, hell, I was having a tantrum with him on my couch.
Even if you guys beat New England, and no offense, Jonka, we know New
right.
England is rebuilding. They got themselves a good coach, and they're trying to rebuild. Even if the Dolphins do win that game, does not mean, okay, we're out of the woods. Look, we beat the Patriots. Because I think then the next week, the Dolphins are going to get smacked by Buffalo. And the point is here, I think Miami is going to get smacked by every team that is a contending team or a good team. Yes, they'll get by the teams like maybe the Jets or maybe a team like the Saints, but any team that is good and contending will smack Miami. With what we saw from week 1, that's all there is really to it, to be honest.
Well, if it's anything like week 1 for the rest of the year, they might be demoted to the Canadian League, if anything. But yeah. I'm a believer where it's not just what it is. I think there will be more games. There will be more weeks.
Yeah, 16 more.
Let's talk about my team. My team had a good, interesting Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. There was everything in that game. There was spitting ejections, weather delays, dropped passes. Listen, a lot of people – I want people to put some respect on the Dallas Cowboys, because a lot of people said, oh, they're going to go in there and they're going to get absolutely blown away. No, they didn't. They lost this game by 4. And if it was not for a fumble, and if it was not for CeeDee Lamb dropping passes, we'd be having a different conversation right now of the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Philadelphia Eagles, in which a lot of people also said it's not even going to be close in the division. The Eagles are going to blow by everybody. The Eagles didn't look that good to me, in my opinion. Aside from Saquon Barkley in the first half, who was shut down in the second half, and aside from Jalen Hurts having to run by himself and do everything himself, I mean, really the reason why they won. I say credit to the Cowboys for the way that they played. Dak looked great. You can't put this game on him. CD dropped those passes. He played great. I think he looked as good as almost 2023 Dak in that game. Defense, I have to see how they play the rest of the year. But against the defending Super Bowl champions, which, again, a narrative that was set that they were going to be absolutely blown out in this game. that they were absolute garbage without Micah Parsons, they shut down Philadelphia's receivers and Saquon Barkley in the second half, and they made Jalen Hurts work for it. And again, a 4-point win due to mistakes of a fumble and drop passes from CeeDee Lamb. Again, if those don't happen, the Cowboys would have won that game. And I believe that they played like a better team.
Well, I think, taking the words out of Jerry Jones, they're looking to stop the run, trying to be, better with that. I don't think Clark was better with that. 6'2" yards from Hurts, the quarterback leading the team in rushing yards, 60 overall from Barkley. I always like to think of it like it could always be worse, especially after watching the Dolphins. At least my quarterback didn't get spat on by a division rival on national television. And this is kind of what we saw from, this game. This was like hard-nosed. Both of these guys hate each other. This felt like a 1990s rivalry game, if anything, at most, a brawl fight. I mean, there was like flags everywhere thrown off even before a snap was played. But I did like Dallas, though. I think that Dallas, the run game, Williams, 2 touchdowns on the day. I don't think anybody thought of that. So it was really impressive from that. I like the play calling now. I know without Ken Moore, it's a little different. Obviously, Moore going over to the Saints. But I like it. I like the new head coach. Can't pronounce that last name at all. But I like him. More aggressive. Domheier, whatever. More aggressive. And obviously, we got to talk about it, the CeeDee Lamb piece of this. The guy fumbled every opportunity he had. We're talking about third downs, easy catches, some throws. I even remember, it's gone to a point where I went to go get myself, went shopping the other day at the mall in Pembroke. And the 2 guys in the front were arguing about the Cowboys. Mind you, not even Cowboy fans. But they were arguing like, CeeDee was open for half the time. CeeDee had a guy on his hip. There's no way he can make that catch. Every single ball hit CeeDee in both hands. Yeah. Not one, both hands.
Yeah.
And if you're getting paid the way that CeeDee's getting paid, you got to make those passes work. You got to make those catches work. For Dak and him, they got to figure that part out. But I loved, especially in the beginning of that game, the George Pickens and the CeeDee Lamb spreading out the field like that. That is going to kill teams. It's going to make teams hungry defensively to try to do their best on the edge. I honestly like this offense. I like how this offense looks. It's better than what people have, advertised it for. But if Micah Parsons was still on this roster, I'm thinking the score might be a little bit different. I really do.
Yeah. I'm still okay that they let him go. Everyone talks about Mike. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a great player. He is. But when you look at his stats, I would say in the last 2 years, and when you look at his stats in moments that matter, it's not that great. And yeah, people say, he's double teamed. Oh, okay, well, so is every other best defensive end in football.
Let me go. I'm happy to go.
Yeah, you can go. I know you want to. I see you eager to pound.
Yeah, I'm a patient young man. So, my father's taught me 2 things about sports. Division games are always unpredictable.
Yeah.
And if Vegas says something, it's usually correct. I don't take too much into the score because it's a division game early in the year. You never know what's going to happen. They play harder. They have so much film on the Eagles. And the one thing I noticed was my thoughts on the Cowboys playing very similar to the Bengals, I think is going to be correct. It's going to be, we're spreading it wide. We're throwing the ball 80% of the time. The run game, at first I was like, oh, wow, this Cowboys run game is impressing me. And then I remembered, wait a minute, the best defensive player on the Eagles and their one possibly all-time great player is not in the game.
But then you're telling me I get it that their top defensive player is out, but then you're saying all the other guys can't stop a running back.
In week 1, it's difficult. Like, they should be able to. Don't get me wrong. Their NFL players are getting paid to do it. They should be able to. But in week 1, when, you're a backup to probably the best overall player on the team or second overall player on that team is Jalen Carter. And his backup's probably like, I don't have to worry about playing. Jalen Carter's playing most of that game for me. And then you go from Jalen Carter to Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a good player, but they're different types of interior defensemen.
Yeah. Davis
is I'm gonna go to the one, take the double team. Jalen Carter wants to go to the 3 and work one-on-one with the guard. That's just different players. I'll be honest. I'm still the exact same spot I thought about Dallas. Me and Jonka did that live stream after the Parsons trade. 1 for 1 on my prediction, by the way. 1 for 1. Just want that out there. What scares me is that when Hurts went to throw, there was no pressure. There wasn't, and that scares me because when you go up against teams that, let's be honest, the Eagles want to run the ball. They killed the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because of the play action. They had to bring those linebackers in because of the run. Once you go against these teams that are going to be like, hey, we're going to sit in shotgun, we're going to throw the ball 34 times, and you're going to have to get to our quarterback. That's what worries me with the Cowboys more than anything. Yeah, they fought hard though. They really did. CD, I'm going to wipe that away.
What you're not mentioning is he didn't get any pressure. He had time to throw the ball, but he had no one to throw it to because
Deron Bland and Diggs they did very good. They did very good. I'm going to put that more to defensive coordinator because they were running a lot of deep zone. They were dropping that last linebacker pretty deep, so that middle of the field was congested, and they could use the sidelines as their friends more than most teams were. But no, don't be wrong. There was stuff that impressed me. It's just it's more of, is this the Cowboys team I expected to go out into the field and play? They played very similar to that, except the run game was probably a bit better than I thought. But I probably just wasn't crediting that O-line enough because the Cowboys always have a good O-line. That's their number one rule. Have a good O-line.
I think they figured it out after the weather break because then they started having a spy and bringing the pressure from the backfield to get that pressure on Jalen Hurts. And that's where it kind of flipped in the second half compared to the first half.
Daniel, I wish you were there because me and Jonka agreed on this when I can't remember if it was me or Jonka that brought it up. I remember the conversation was they will not get pressure with 4. It has to be 5.
Yeah.
If they bring 5, they'll be fine because their nickels are fast enough to overload one side, and that's what happened.
Yep.
And they just started overloading one side, and they were getting pressure, but not being able to get there with 4 in the long term is going to be scary for them. So I'm still in the same spot, but they showed heart that I didn't expect, and the O-line does. And the Cowboys O-line looks good. They still look good. They don't look bad.
So let's talk about that Jets and Steelers game. I know Brandon's not high on the Jets, on what they did and what Pittsburgh did with now 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, but I can't lie. I mean, I'm impressed with what Pittsburgh did, and I'm impressed with what the Jets showed.
This is, mind you, a Pittsburgh team, as people have quoted, Super Bowl or bust. That's what people are saying about this Pittsburgh team from the side of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If anything, Steelers Twitter maybe. The fact that you had to etch out a win of a 60-yard game-winning field goal to get past the New York Jets, I don't think it's Super Bowl or bust. I think you hope for a wild card or nothing at this point. Again, impressive game overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're talking about a game where it was back and forth against New York. But how much did that push the needle? A 34-32 win. You gave up 32 points against the New York Jets. You gave up 32 points against Justin Fields. Justin Fields for the day, 218 yards, but only completed 16 of 22 throws. All right. The real hero of this Jets team was really the run game. 107 yards from Breece Hall. And Hall is probably one of the better running backs in the AFC, if not in the entire NFL right now. But what are you doing giving him 107 yards? And yes, as an active player right now, Hall is one of the better running backs in the NFL. I didn't say the best. Look, with Derrick Henry still living and breathing, I'm not saying the best, but he is one of the better running backs in the NFL. And if your face tells me what I think it's saying, then the Pittsburgh Steelers get Breece Hall 107 rushing yards. That's how good this defense is on Pittsburgh. All right. If Aaron Rodgers didn't jump out of his crane in his old bed and put out 244 yards passing with 4 tutties, who knows where this game would have gone, But besides that, I would say one thing, though. I did like the receiving core in this one. I think Metcalf fits well with Aaron. I thought without Pickens is going to be a little bit more of an issue, but they shaped up pretty well. But Calvin Austin, Jalen Warren, Jonnu Smith, 5 targets. My apologies, 5 receptions off 6 targets. I thought he'd be getting more involved. But yeah, according to Jonka's reaction, because I'm guessing we're on the same page here, Hall looked like a top running back in the NFL, which I think a lot of fantasy owners would say.
Top what? Top what? I didn't hear this.
I'm not going to put a number on this.
Oh, stand on business, Brandon. Stand on business.
I would say a top 10 running back in the NFL actively.
That's not a hot take.
I'm not going to say 3. I'm not going to say 5. Because if I said 3 or 5, I know you can say 3 or 5 in a single division. You know what I mean? But again, he looked like a top back. And again, that's all Pittsburgh. That's on Pittsburgh for giving up 32 points and 107 yards rushing. So I'm not impressed with the Jets. I think that New York is just New York. No matter if it's, from the Giants to the Jets, it's still in East Rutherford. It's still ass. So I think that this was just a showboat week 1 game. Pittsburgh, at least they edged it out. I'm more excited about Pittsburgh than I am New York in this game.
Can we talk about that Baltimore and Buffalo game last night? I mean, that was first of all, Josh Allen calling out his own fans and saying, "Come on, you guys need to stay all the way to the end of this game. Have some faith in us." I will say, me and Janka are standing on business. It's 2 versus 2 here. I know it's just week 1, but you guys both said if there's anyone coming out of the AFC, it's going to be Baltimore. But me and Janka stand on business, and we think that this could be the year that Buffalo has a chance to do it.
Look, I don't know about all that. Again, impressive comeback. All right, but how are you going to tell me that Derrick Henry fumbles that ball? You know what I mean?
By him fumbling it?
No, obviously, but I'm saying no one would have guessed that the game would have gone to that. If they're let's just run the ball, kill the clock. Well, are you sure? What if we fumble? Well, we have Derrick Henry. Okay, no problem. Somehow he fumbles it. I don't understand how the hell he fumbles it. You know what I mean? From the grace of magic, someone was able to get that nearly 300-pound man to fumble that ball. That's the most impressive thing I've seen all week.
He's such a big guy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And not even that. We're talking about, explosive runs. Actually, let me pull up the stats just to double check. But this game was so incredible because I stayed up the entire time because, may have been betting a little bit. But besides that, as a Broward County kid, it was cool to see Lamar Jackson and Flowers go at it. But 41-40, also scoregami or whatever the fuck. That is the first time we've ever seen that in the NFL's 106-year history. And Henry, 169 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson right behind him with 70. This team was a flamethrower before those last 5 minutes of the game. Even D-Hop got a touchdown. I didn't even realize DeAndre Hopkins was even on this team until I saw a graphic of him. Yeah, I mean, again, Jockey, you can't blame me. The guy's, he's a journeyman at this point.
Wide receiver for DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah. That guy, what? Slot 4? Yes, slot 4. Yeah. I'm telling you, though, I still like Baltimore this season. They look great. It's just really, at the end of the game, it just really got killed. It really got killed. Because Buffalo, throughout at least 3/4 of this game, had no emotion, looked dead in the water, down 15, and then those turnovers were just the cost of the game, the absolute cost of the game. Allen looked great, though. James Cook, I'm glad they were able to figure out contract negotiations with James Cook because that guy deserves it. And honestly, he deserved it in this game as well. I thought he was one of the bigger pieces in this game, despite what his stats tell you. So this was an impressive comeback by Buffalo at home to open up the week 1. Still, I don't know if I was this, let's have Buffalo on this pedestal here. They've been on top of it. They haven't moved from that pedestal, but I'm not going to put them way above everyone in the AFC right now.
Jonka, you want to defend our pick in Buffalo?
I mean, they beat Baltimore. So, I mean, who do you have over Buffalo right now, just based off the standings? Just based off of the standings right now.
the standings
Give
right
me
now.
the Chargers. Give me the Chargers.
There we go. I knew
The
someone was going to
Chargers
say
over
that.
Buffalo?
I knew
No.
someone
Oh
was
God,
going to
no!
say
I don't
that.
believe that. No, I don't
Like
believe
this is the
that.
problem. This is the thing. I think. Okay, listen. This is not gonna be crazy. Do you think Buffalo is gonna have a better record or a lesser record than Baltimore at the end of this season? Who gets
Lesser.
the first overall seed?
Baltimore.
I don't know, bro. I think Buffalo sweeps me, Miami, and the Jets.
But you don't think Baltimore would do the same?
No.
They've done it they've done it the last couple of years though.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know if you saw the Browns-Cincinnati game.
Sure.
None of those teams are making it. Like, none of those teams are making it.
My Joe Burrow MVP pick isn't looking very good.
The thing is that Baltimore is just one of those teams that always drops one of those games, and like last night was one of those games that they just
No pun
dropped.
intended.
So, Jonka, can I bring up something that was very close to 365 days ago to this day? Chiefs Ravens. What happened? Chiefs win. Baltimore starts the season 0-1. They go on to be the 1 seed.
Okay.
I think personally, it's a mental thing in the AFC with the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs are in the playoffs in the AFC, it's almost impossible to beat them just because of mentally. What makes me so believable in Baltimore and only have this small trepidation because they have choked games in big moments in the playoffs is it was, and excuse the language, for 53 minutes, it was belt to ass. It was belt to ass for 53 minutes.
Yep.
And then they had 8 minutes where they played off. They looked like the Dolphins for 8 minutes.
I will concede that point where it was 40-25 and looked like Baltimore was the better team.
Yeah.
It just until that, obviously, unfortunately, Derrick Henry did fumble that ball. And then this is where the game came down to is Baltimore's defense. They had 2 chances to get stops and basically ice the game. And they just couldn't get it. They just could not get it. Josh Allen picked them apart easily. And that's the problem I see when it gets to like the thick in the playoffs. It's those situations. I think Josh Allen has that if factor, and Lamar Jackson just sometimes it's not really Lamar Jackson's fault. I just think unfortunately like he doesn't have the big playmakers to make those plays besides him and Derrick Henry. I don't think Zay Flowers does not impress me. Mark Andrews doesn't impress me. Isaiah Likely, sometimes. And then D-Hop, like you said, he's washed.
Yeah,
I'd be more worried about the Bills' defense.
Now, you tell me you bring in a star receiver for Lamar Jackson, like a star receiver. Okay, maybe you can make a case. But
who's the star receiver on Buffalo? I mean, they got good guys, obviously. Yeah, they got good guys. They got Coleman. They got Shaquille, whatever his name is.
It's the exact same thing. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are good receivers.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. I would be more worried about the Bills' defense and the Ravens' defense going into this because every year Josh Allen has been a starter. Sean McDermott has had a top, besides last year because they were number 8, had a top 6 scoring defense. So every year he's been a starter, they've had a top 10 scoring defense. This defense looks gettable. Now, that could be because they played the Ravens, but there are holes in this defense that can be exploited. The secondary can be got. If you have a good run game, you will be got because their only good run stopper is Ed Oliver because Greg Rousseau looks like he's just a pure pass rusher now. He wants to pin his ears back. And so that would worry me if I was betting on the Bills is that if this defense is giving up 22 points a game come the end of the season, that's what scares me in the playoffs because if you go against a Baltimore and let's say Baltimore gets home field, because I'm going to be honest, I'm comfortable in saying I know Baltimore can go to Buffalo and win. They might have lost, but I'm very comfortable in saying they can go to Buffalo and win. I'm not comfortable yet saying I know Buffalo can go to Baltimore and win. I can't say that.
The one thing I think we're glossing over, I know it's like we're talking about the playoffs now. That's like it's week 1, but this game
it matters, Jonka.
It matters. I get it. This game matters, but at the same time, it's week 1. These teams have had 3.5 months to prepare just for the start of this game. Just for this one game because they want to start off the season good. But these next 16, 17 weeks, you're going to see the teams develop and see what changes they make. And then once they get into the playoffs, they're going to see what adjustments they can make and the experience from week 1. And hopefully they do have a future matchup for the AFC Championship game these two make it. That would be cinema, bro. That would be cinema. Week 1 matchup in the AFC Championship. Winner goes to the Super Bowl, bro. That would feed families for generations. I swear. The adjustments both teams will have to make. Oh my God, it's be legendary, bro. My God, please.
It'd be fun.
We can talk about the NFL honestly for the entire show. There was 2 more matchups I wanted to talk about, but we're gonna move on to college football. What do you guys think about the Week 3 AP Top 25 poll? The Miami Hurricanes remain at 5. Florida State is now at 10. And oh God, Brandon, let's not talk about the Florida Gators. But
no, bring them up.
We need to give credit with as bad as the loss the Florida fans are taking that. We need to give credit to USF.
I've been saying
we need to give credit to USF, and I will say it right now. And Jonathan and I were talking earlier. If USF beats Miami this weekend, they deserve to be in the top 5, at least top 10.
I would say at 10 if that was the case. I don't know about top 5 though. I don't know about top 5. That's very. Look, I'm not gonna put them over a Notre Dame, an Oregon, an LSU, and all that. But also on top of the Florida thing, because that was horrible play calling at the end of the 4th. Billy Napier should have figured things out. And also for a kid to spat on another guy. I mean, what's up with spitting? Is that the new thing in football now?
Listen, it all started with Luis Suarez spitting, and then after that, everybody in sports is spitting.
Another type of football. Everyone's I'm finished. All right. Kids are in college. Come on. But I'm telling you, though, like, horrible play calling at the end. Oh, Jesus, yeah. But anyway, I'm telling you, it was a horrible thing by the Gators. Definitely give credit to South Florida. Byron Brown, he will be a Heisman candidate by the end of the year. There's no doubt in my mind about that for South Florida. But on top of that, Arizona State, a 12th-ranked team, losing in Starksville against Mississippi State, and they're not even in the top of the 25 here. Alabama down at 19, only moving 2 spots. What I thought was actually really crazy, and I think it's like the game of the week that no one really talked about, the Oklahoma-Michigan game.
Okay, that game was good.
That was a hell of a game. Oklahoma, I love Oklahoma this year.
What did I tell you guys for months now? John Mateer is good, bro.
He is
Can you
good.
remind me the final score of that game real quick? The Michigan-Oklahoma game, what was the final score again?
That final score, I'm going to look it up right now, but also speaking of it, the Sooners look back. Honestly, I can't wait for that Red River rivalry game.
I got it.
13-24. Michigan, and again, with a freshman quarterback, I think in today's day of age of college football, we've been seeing that more recently of the top 25 teams. Bryce Underwood, of course. I think we need to give him a little more time. I'm not going to see Michigan competing for the Big Ten. I'm not going to see Michigan competing for a national playoff spot. I think this is going to be a Michigan team that's going to take a bit back behind Ohio State, obviously, because you have teams like Illinois breaking in the top 10 at number 9. This will be a weird year for Michigan.
In the country.
Mm-hmm. So Penn State, and speaking of which,
that's right.
So
lost by 30. Let's go.
Hey, it was at 10. It was at 10. But no, on a serious note, though, Penn State, obviously, when they play against Ohio State later on in the regular season, that will be the game of the year, no doubt. But shout out to the Panthers, though. Shout out to FIU getting a little national coverage right there. A little, check in the box like, oh, what's happening over here? What's happening in Happy Valley, But the main concerns I would have to say from this AP poll, besides the teams that got punched out, how bad is Clemson? I mean, how bad is Clemson nearly losing to Troy?
Crazy.
This Clemson team should be in the top 3 easily, and the fact that they're 1-1, it's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
You have to think of Cade Klubnik as a deep veteran quarterback, and the fact that he's not walking in against a team like Troy and having 9 touchdowns. I know I'm exaggerating, but that's a huge issue. And I think Dabo Swinney's starting to see the repercussions of not taking transfers. I think he's starting to have to. I think oh my God, who are the people that donate? The donors are starting to think about a bullet they're going to have to bite soon if he's going to keep boosters. That's it. Boosters. Because that next time he's going to have to sign that contract, if he's still not taking in any type of transfers, you're not going to win. You have to take transfers now. That's literally what Miami's doing. They're number 5 in the country. there's only so many guys that they recruited actually playing on that team. Even looking at the top 5 right now: Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Oregon, Miami. Ohio State had the best wide receiver in the country go to their team. He's from South Florida, Brandon Innes. A couple years ago.
Innes, yeah.
Innes. He's their number 2 receiver. I know they recruited Jeremiah Smith, but like they're recruiting big guys. But then they're,
I would say number 3 receiver. I think Carnell Tate and then Jeremiah.
Yeah, you might be right. No, but I was getting to the point, but like Ohio State, like they're recruiting the big guys, but they're bringing in all these transfers still. Half their defense is transfers. And so the team like Clemson, they're going in, they're like, yeah, sure, you're having really good recruiting classes every year because they know at some point they're going to play early, but you're not going to win as of right now with that mantra. And them being at 12 feels almost high at this point.
Yeah, and also I was going to also push because speaking of transfers, I thought honestly the transfer quarterbacks that have been pushing Oklahoma, as I said before, and Tennessee, they should be above Clemson in this. They should really be above Clemson in this.
I like Oklahoma in front of them. Tennessee, I wouldn't throw yet, but I do like Oklahoma in front of them. I would put Oklahoma in front of South Carolina. South Carolina didn't impress me that much.
Okay.
I love Lenore Sellers. I love him so much, but the rest of the team wasn't giving me that. When I look at them, I wasn't going, that's an SEC team. That's a team that can go into any building at SEC and win a game. I don't see that from them, so I know I wouldn't have them that high. But at the same time, the AP you have to respect just like where you put them at the beginning of the year, and that they're 2-0. So they're 11. They're 1 in front of Clemson, but I'd probably put Oklahoma at 11, then go South Carolina, Iowa State, Clemson, Tennessee.
I have 2 things to say. One, despite the score, I'm super proud of FIU because they held Penn State, the number 2 team in the country, 10 points in an entire half. If you're telling me that Penn State struggled to score more than 10 points against FIU in Conference USA, they're going to get slapped by Ohio State. Slapped. And number 2, with Clemson, maybe this is Miami's year to finally get an ACC title that they've never won.
So we're gonna do it.
Unless Florida State demolishes them.
Don't say that. That's me.
I'm gonna address I'm trying to get through everybody's thing. Blake, you were talking about Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. I feel like that team, besides just Lenore Sellers, everything they have is just him and Nicholas Harbor, who I think is gonna be our first round pick. That guy's a beast.
He's massive. He runs that fast. He's huge.
Bro, yeah, he's a track star. Miami, it was between him and South Carolina for recruiting for Miami and him. So I was tracking that. It was crazy. And then heading to Clemson, I think Dabo Swinney is in that situation. I agree with you in that situation where I think he's too prideful to take transfers. And to me, I've been getting a new opinion on the transfer portal. I think they just agreed to 1 transfer portal, not 2. So now that's going to really limit like the whole situation there. Plus, the way I see the transfer portal is while you're recruiting from high school, if some of the players don't work out or don't end up being what you thought they would be or they don't develop, that's why you use the transfer portal to bring in guys that are like, okay, you know what? We let this guy go. You bring in some guy to take his place who can give you more production. You subtract, but you add stuff, to make your team better. But Dabo Swinney only recruits, and little by little, this is what is kind of like hindering them a little bit in a way. But receivers, they don't really have a receiver, and now who's on the Cowboys, Phil Maffa, that was their star running back from last year. So now they don't have a running back. They use the wide receiver at running back, bro. Like, what are they doing? They kind of look lost in a way. Like their identity is kind of like, I don't know, shaky in a way.
They got Tyrone Tracy at running back.
And then for USF, I gotta give respect. I've been saying it since like 2 years ago, since we were doing this, bro. That Alex Golish, I've been saying it. He's a really good coach. He's bringing that program up from like the depths. And Byron Brown is a dog. The guy is hard to take down. And then plus for this weekend against Miami, that game is going to be a dogfight. And plus with their hurry up offense and no huddles, our defense is gonna have to stay like concentrated and keep up, because even though we did beat them last year, it was like kind of a close game until like that fourth quarter where just like that offensive line just couldn't take it anymore with our D line, and that's when all the stuff started breaking in, the running game and the touchdowns started happening, which opened the game up completely. But I think this team is really good. They're disciplined. They have this motivation now. 2 ranked teams in the first 2 weeks were beaten with Boise State and now Florida, and now they play Miami here in Miami, which is going to be if they beat us, which I think they can. Like, I'm not gonna knock them on that. They can always, anybody can walk into our place and win. You know, no disrespect for anybody. I don't think anybody. I don't like to, like, how do you say, underestimate anybody in football anymore, because now with NIL, everybody goes out anywhere they want. The talent is more spread out. You already heard my take on that for months now. But overall, I'm super impressed with USF, bro. I think that team. I think they're already in contention for a 2027 quarterback, a 5-star recruit, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, this is like, I'm loving this, bro. South Florida, besides Florida, just Florida.
Is this the kid from Southridge?
I think so. I can check on that later for you.
USF is one of the contenders for a 5-star quarterback.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's getting for real, bro. Wow. They're showing that they can compete, bro. And plus
from
their schedule
down here in Miami, yeah.
I'm telling you this right now. Even if, let's say, they lose this game, which is just a non-conference game, it doesn't affect their conference schedule. So they can legit, if they can compete with Miami and if Miami wins in a close game, the rest of their schedule is going to be easy cakewalk. And they ended up winning.
They don't lose rank. If this is a 10-point game by the end of it, you keep their rank exactly at 18.
I agree. Yeah. You do not knock them for a 10-point loss.
No, I'll be honest. If they lose by like 21, then we can bump them, or they might actually think Miami's that good.
And actually, one more thing, before you go, Brandon. Yep. I want to point this out. I know I told Daniel last week, but we weren't on the pod. But I did predict the correct score for the Miami Hurricanes Notre Dame game. It was 27-24 by a field goal. And I have the video and I have it recorded. I'm going to send it to all of you in the group chat after this.
I hope I don't want to see what I said.
Yeah, but definitely look at the socials. Look at the socials. I'll probably be in the socials.
Yeah.
Guarantee. But, John, I did want to say, though, because I do want to correct you, though. It's not in contention. He committed. So they're saying here James Brown committed to USF. He tells Hayes Fawcett over schools such as West Virginia, UCF, and Virginia Tech. Again, kid from Southridge committed. That's on Instagram about 11 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Miami, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So, again, awesome. They're recruiting here. They're recruiting here in South Florida, too. There it goes. That's the graphic.
That's awesome for them, man.
Yeah.
That's good, bro. You see? And then shout out to Willie Simmons, bro. He's bringing that thing up. I told you the recruiting was the problem, bro. The recruiting was the problem. It wasn't the coaching, bro. Is that we didn't have the talent to compete. That was what FIU
I really like Willie Simmons, man. I think Willie Simmons is a dog.
Now, the only thing is I need him to recruit a quarterback. I mean, once for Jenkins is gone, I need to see what the quarterback situation is going to be. If you don't have a good quarterback, it's going to be hard to win. But as of right now, they're doing a pretty good in my book, bro. Shout out.
Yeah. Also, Shula Bowl. It's their week.
Man, I just wish the game wasn't at 4:30, bro.
I know, dude. I mean, honestly, it'll be before the LSU game. I might make an appearance. To see what's up. A little tease there. But
if you go, I go.
I'm at the remind. Okay, we're gonna see you guys there. See you guys there at the tailgates. But I'm telling you though, because I can't even tell you what was the last time FIU won a Shula Bowl. I'm gonna put it out there. It's a guarantee. Willie Simmons in his first Shula Bowl will be victorious over FAU.
That's what I like. That's what I like to hear, man.
The Owls got to kick the Owls when they're down, man. This FAU team is not it.
Guys,
So I got Panthers.
Can you guys stop scheduling Bethune-Cookman?
We didn't play him last year.
Stop. It's free win for Miami.
Exactly. It's tradition. It's tradition, though.
Every team in Power 4, bro, plays the crappiest teams, bro. Like FSU played. I don't even know what it was.
Dude, I'm confident
you have played Long Island.
Cookman.
I don't know about that.
I'm confident that it could happen.
First, you got to focus on St. Thomas Aquinas first.
Oh, I guarantee you that St. Thomas Aquinas can beat Bethune-Cookman.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a jump, bro.
It's not a jump when their O-line and D-line can go play in the NFL right now.
I have a friend that's playing at STA right now. I'll text him and see what he thinks. I'll let you know.
Yes, let me know. I would like to know the answer to that.
Well, he's in high school. He's going to say they're going to win. He's not smart. He's in high school.
That is true.
I
We
think
got to
they have a chance.
Oh,
I think they have a chance. Anyways, guys, that's all the time we have for tonight. Lots of football. There's going to be lots of football for the foreseeable future. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Keep up with all of our social media, with all the content we're putting out there. We have some cool things planned up for the near future. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 199.